Welcome back to our channel, where we break down all of your favorite season episodes. Today we are going to recap episode 1 of a high school drama sci-fi and fantasy series which is based on a zombie outbreak in South Korea. So without further ado, let's begin! On a rainy night at a rooftop, Guenam is bullying and hitting Jinsu with his classmates, because he has mentioned one of them in his suicide note. Jinsu tries to fight back but fails miserably. He falls down from the rooftop. Seeing bruised Jinsu's body on the ground, Guenam gets scared. Jinsu is taken to the hospital, while his doctor is talking on phone that he needs emergency surgery. His father, Mr. Lee, sneaks into his room. He sees that multiple machines are attached to his son's body. Jinsu looks at him and says, "Are they okay?" He apologizes to Mr. Lee. Jinsu says that he knows it is wrong, but he wanted to kill them. He apologetically says it will never happen again. His father replies it's okay, everything is going to be fine. Suddenly Jinsu starts getting angry and says nothing is getting better, either they die, or he die. Then his eyes turn red, and he tries to get up from his bed while saying he will kill those dogs. Mr. Lee stops him while saying that he will fix everything. Jinsu threatens him that does he want to die. While threatening his father, he bites his hand. He looks like he is possessed by something. Mr. Lee grabs a Bible from the room and tells Jinsu that he loves him. He beats Jinsu until he bleeds to death. After that, he packs his body in a suitcase and goes out to get rid of the dead body. On his way to dispose his son's body, Mr. Lee falls down on the floor and figures out that his son is still alive. Suddenly his son grabs his arm while trying to escape from the suitcase. During a busy day at Hyosun school day, Hyun-ju wakes up in the biology classroom. While standing up, she hears a voice coming from the supply room. She goes inside and finds out a shaking box with a metal case on it. Out of curiosity, she goes near the box and knocks at it. Unexpectedly, she hears a knockback from the box and gets startled. She removes the metal cover and finds out a hamster trapped inside a glass box. Suddenly, the hamster starts getting aggressive and bites her. As she is about to leave, Professor Lee enters the room and asks her what she is doing there. She says nothing and leaves. While going out, she mumbles to herself that it bit me. The man sees her blood on the floor. As she is leaving the classroom, Mr. Lee grabs Hyun-ju and pushes her back into the room. Then he closes the door. Gyeon-soo and Chon-san on their way back home from school are talking about Chon-san's parents' new restaurant opening. While looking at his phone, Chon-san bumps into An-jo and Isaac, who ask him to treat them with fried chicken at his family's restaurant. While dining, Isaac brings up Mr. Lee. She says he smells like a corpse. Chon-san says Nayeon must have spread this humor. An-jo replies after Mr. Lee's son went missing and he came back to school, he smelled like a corpse. Chon-san questions, does Nayeon even know how does a corpse smell? An-jo says that she is a master at fragrances and she is right. Isaac further mentions that his son was an outcast who was bullied. An-jo then talks about the incident that happened last week in class. While Mr. Lee was writing on the board, he started writing speedily while drenching in sweat, and then he left the class immediately without saying a word. After dinner, while running for literature class, An-jo asks Chon-san to stop because she has to say something. An-jo opens her hair and says which hairstyle looks better on her. Chon-san's eyes are fixed at her, but then he says get lost to her jokingly. At night in Hyosun High School, a security guard with a flashlight in his hand is checking classrooms, while a live Hyun-ju is chained to the radiator in the supply room. The guard walks away without seeing her. Next morning, An-jo is having her breakfast when her father Nam So-ju asks her about her upcoming exams. He tells her not to stress herself. She doesn't have a chance for getting good grades. An-jo replies that he should not give up on her. He says that he is not giving up her, but he just doesn't have any expectations from her. He further says that getting good grades is not important. Being safe and healthy is. Chon-san rings An-jo's doorbell and then they leave together for the school while goofing around with each other. The bullies from earlier are sitting in some unconstructed part of school. While bullying a boy, the main guy asks that it is his fault that Jinsu has gone missing. Why did he told the teacher that he can be one of the suspects? The boy replies that he was asked to write down everything he knows, and he is sorry. A girl, Eun-ji, is also standing over there. The main guy gives Guenam a sign. Guenam starts tearing Eun-ji's shirt while recording her video. He asks the boy to film it on his mobile phone. When he says no, Guenam starts attacking him. Soo-hyuk comes inside the room and tells the bullies to stop. The leader of the group says to him, in past you used to be like us, don't act like a saint now. Soo-hyuk tells the boy and Eun-ji to leave, but the bully threatens them that if they left it would be not good for them. Gue Nam says to Eunji that he should send her video to her mom as he is friends with her on Facebook. Eunji says to Soo Hyuk that she can't leave because it will be twice bad tomorrow. Eunji and the boy stays while Soo Hyuk leave for his class. Anjo sees him and stop him, but he ignores her. Anjo runs towards him and tell him that she will wait for him at rooftop during lunch. The teacher Miss Park in the classroom asks her students, "Does anyone know about Hyun-ju?" A student replies to her that he cleaned a classroom with her yesterday after that he haven't seen her. Miss Park says to her students that if anyone gets in contact with her, they should inform her right away. Miss Park then pays a visit to Mr. Lee, who is in charge of the class Hyun-ju cleaned. She asks him if he has saw Hyun-ju. He denies and say that he haven't seen her. Miss Park questions him that he went home without checking his class. Suddenly there is a thud in supply room. Mrs. Park asks Mr. Lee, "Is there somebody inside the supply room?" Mr. Lee replies it's just a lab hamster and he needs to get ready for his class now. Mr. Lee goes inside the supply room and start recording himself on his laptop, while Hyun-ju is tied to a radiator at his back. While recording himself, he says that a student was bitten by a hamster, and she has been sedated by benzodiazepine. It is slowing the infection, but only by a few hours. He then hears Hyun-ju's voice. He gets up and injects her again while she is looking rabid as blood is coming out of her mouth. She murmurs to him that please don't kill me. Mr. Lee says that she shouldn't bother herself with hope. Later in Mr. Lee's class, Gue Nam is sitting behind Eunji, who he made video of her earlier. He bullies her again. Hee-so was looking sick in Miss Park's class, so she excuses herself from the classroom. Meanwhile, Hyun-ju gets free and go to Miss Park's class. She falls down on the floor covered in blood while telling Miss Park that Mr. Lee has grabbed and locked her up. Mississippi Park tells her to stop talking as all the students are listening. She takes her to infirmary. Soo Hyun carries her to the infirmary, while she is looking all rabid. Hee-so enters the doctor's office looking sick. Doctor gets up from her seat to check Hee-so, but Miss Park comes into the room with Hyun-ju. They put her on the bed. Doctor checks her temperature and say it's too low. Hyun-ju starts acting crazy. Her eyes turn red. Doctor asks Miss Park to call the ambulance, while Hee-so leaves the room looking all sick. Back in the infirmary, Hyun-ju tells Mississippi Park that she is feeling hot and Mr. Lee has injected her with a shot to kill her. Hyun-ju starts shouting, "I am going to kill them all," and tries to bite on Joe, who is standing by her side. The doctor sedates her immediately. Hee-so is leading the class after taking her bag, while Every is gossiping about Hyun-ju. A student says that Mr. Lee's son has committed suicide because of the bullying. Hyun-ju used to bully him along with the bullies. That's why Mr. Lee is going for everyone, one by one, who bullied his son. A student comes back from the infirmary and start telling the students that Hyun-ju is biting and acting crazy. Anjo is a little bit hurt, but Hyun-ju smells just like Mr. Lee. Along with ambulance, Anjo's father comes as a paramedic. He asks Anjo if she is fine. She replies that she was startled. Her father bandages her while telling that he will be on call until next morning. While going back into the classroom, Anjo tells Soo Hyuk that she got scratched. Soo Hyuk asks her to tell him right now what she has to say because he will be busy at lunchtime. Anjo gives him her name tag indicating that she wants to go on a date with him. Soo Hyuk says that you are already going out with Chon-san. Anjo replies that she is not dating him, they are just childhood friends. Meanwhile, Chon-san comes running towards Anjo and start checking her scratch. Anjo leaves immediately. Chon-san asks Soo Hyuk is she hurt badly. Soo Hyuk say no, she just got scratched. He asks Chon-san that is he going out with Anjo. Chon-san replies no, he will never date her. Mr. Lee is taken to the principal office, where he says that we must quarantine Hyun-ju. While principal is angry at Ms. Park for calling police as the school evaluation is coming up soon. While they are bickering, two police officers enter the room, where one of the officers says to Mr. Lee that it had been a while that I have seen you. While the doctor back in her office notices that during Hyun-ju's treatment, she was bitten by her. She starts feeling pain and her eyes turn red, while something inside her veins is growing. She checks her temperature, which is very low. Her nose starts bleeding, and she falls down on the floor. During lunch hour, Isaac says to Anjo that everyone knows that she is dating Chon-san. Anjo tells her that she is not dating Chon-san and she has told Soo Hyuk that she likes him by giving him her name tag. Anjo tells Isaac that she is worried that he didn't answer her. The bullies are outside doctor's office. They start filming her when they see her acting weird. The doctor runs towards one of them and bite him. The student turns just like her and start attacking other students. Eunji is standing on the rooftop to suicide. The boy, who is also a victim, asks her to come down. Eunji says that the bullies said that they will post the video on the internet. The boy says to her the bullies promised him that they will delete it. Eunji turns around to jump but sees students coming out of the classroom's windows, looking like zombies and covered in blood. Back in the cafeteria, An-jo tells Chon-san that earlier she confessed to Soo-hyuk, but she doesn't know how he feels. Chon-san goes into shock after listening to her. An-jo asks him if he can ask Soo-hyuk about his feeling for her. Chon-san says that he is not close with him. An-jo walks away by saying, "You are not a real friend because you are not helping me." As An-jo was leaving the cafeteria, a large amount of students starts rushing inside the cafeteria. They are running away from the zombie students who are trying to bite them. An-jo falls down on the floor during this chaos. This is when a zombie comes near her to bite. The first episode of this chaotic zombie outbreak series ends here. Please let us know if you would like to see recap of the next episodes of the series as well. If you liked our video, then please consider liking it and subscribing to our channel. We will see you in the next one.